All you lot heads, welcome in on a Monday. I am your host, Dez, and you are listening to The Rap with Dez. That's me. All right, it is Monday, which means Friday night, this past Friday night, the Sandlots were in action against the Bulldogs, and guess what? We brought home the W, baby. Got a W, and coming up in league standing discussions, we're going to see how we got there and how the rest of the league is faring. But you know what? Man, this season has been it's been an abnormal season just due to all the rainouts early in the season. But you know, it's also felt like trying to thread a needle, you know, and we're wearing catcher's mitts. You know, we started off, man, kind of like a car with a dead battery. Some sparks here and there, a flicker of hope, but mostly just that click, click, click sound. And nothing was ever kind of like coming together the way it should. There was, you know, a little bit of hope at the beginning of the season. But, you know, here we sit at 3-4, and we're pulling out of the ditch with that W Friday night that kind of felt more like a team exorcism than a baseball game. It's just been trying to patch holes in the lineup here and there. You know, at this age, we have other obligations for family and stuff like that. So guys aren't always at every game, and it's a chess match and a thinking man's game to try to put together a lineup that's going to be competitive week in and out. And hey, man, props to manager Bruce Raspberry for making that happen. Man, the Yotenstros running the league like they hacked a simulation or something, man. The Rangers still are better X that we can't quite get over. But make no mistake, look, this is a team to not bet against. And I'll tell you why. Look, Eric Olson's been lights out on the bump. You know, maybe a rough fill-in, but when he's started the game on the bump, man, he's just been lights out. Talk about lights out. Man, I don't know where I was going with that. But look, Anthony Hare is quickly becoming the Sandlot's Swiss Army knife. Pitch him, hit him. Hey, let him drive the bus out to Z-Bo's next time we have to play out there while he's at it. You know, he's got it going on right now. What can we say? And you know what? Look, it's not all sunshines, rainbows, and home runs. Definitely no home runs because we can't sugarcoat anything about this, man. Dez Valdez, our fearless third baseman, is hitting about as well as a screen door on a submarine right now, man. 0 for 4 on Friday night and just looking like they've never seen live pitching before. But, you know, we got to keep a sense of humor. And there he was, commenting on Friday night. Man, it's a hell of a time to trying to wait on those pitches. Wow, what a quote. Hang in there, Dez. Everybody loves a good redemption arc, so playoffs are coming. That'd be a great time to finally come through. You are due. So let's see if we can stick together like some butt cheeks. All right. So with that coming up, we also have, man, this World Baseball Classic. Man, it's coming up soon. I don't know how you feel about it. But we're going to have that discussion. We're going to throw some shade, at least from this side, down on that World Baseball Classic. And we'll have that discussion. Also coming up, man, we next week got an important game against the hated and bitter rival, the Rangers. So all of that coming up. Stick around. This segment is sponsored by Tire Store Service Center. You know them. We talk about them all the time. That's where I take my personal vehicles, where I take all of my vans from my fleet at Bandigo Van Rentals, man. They take care of me every time, and it's like going over to a friend's house and just kind of hanging out while they work on your car. So anyways, this episode and this segment brought to you by Tire Store Service Center. At the Tire Store, they don't sell you, they service you. From alignments to rotations to making sure your ride is game day ready, they got you covered. Tire Store Service Center, we don't sell, we service. And tell them the Sandlots sent you. There's a couple of locations throughout the DFW area. Mine is personally the one off of Harwood Road in Euless. But find the location nearest you. Look them up, tirestoretx.com. Tire Store TX.com, or look them up on Facebook, Instagram, or your favorite social media outlet. All right, guys, let's get into this game summary. Hey, guess what? I've also got some pretty good video. If you didn't catch the live feed, speaking of live feed, if you don't know, if you aren't a follower or haven't been, and you're just now getting caught up, the Sandlots have a live stream every Friday night when we are playing. So it's a live stream of the game. So if you can't make it out to the ballpark, check us out on the live stream. Check out your favorite players: Landon Loggins, Eric Olson, Bruce Raspberry, to name a few, Steve Terrell, Des Valdez, guys you may know from your local community, and friends of friends of friends. So we love all our followers. We love all our fans and friends. So we'd love to bring more into the family. So check us out and tell us what you think. All right, coming out, man, Friday night. Let's talk about it. All right. I don't know if you've ever seen a Major League Baseball game where the team is just run out of professional pitching and must then just throw in some random Joe from the lineup. Some guy probably last pitched in like high school or little league, and say, "Hey, man, I can get the ball over the plate." I'm not saying it'll get there with any speed or accuracy, but it'll get across the plate, and we'll see how it goes. And it's a gamble for any manager who does this. At that point, you're usually out of options or trying to save arms in the bullpen because the game is already out of hand in one way or another. So, if you've ever seen that, it is it's a mixed bag, to be honest with you, because some guys can put it, square across the plate with some at least BP speed on it. Others throw it like with an arc, like they're playing slow pitch softball. Either way, it's very, very hard for players that are, used to a range of speed, at that particular level. For us, I think the minimum was probably about maybe 55. I would mostly say 60, 60 to 65, probably more like 60. I don't know, without a radar gun, but just saying, that is the base speed, the very bottom, the floor of what we're talking about seeing from pitchers in our league. And the guy that the Bulldogs threw against us Friday night, wow! I mean, it was somewhere between that slow pitch softball and probably dad coach or coach pitch. Yeah, Little League Baseball. So, man, just trying to stay back long enough to keep the ball not only in the fair field of play, but just to make contact, solid contact. It was a struggle, man. It was an epic struggle, at least for me. But let's don't take my word for it. Let's look at some of this video of the first time through the lineup here, and I'll kind of narrate this for you. But Derek Surley's going to lead off, and right here, just soft contact pop up. I don't know if that dropped. Anthony Hare, another little soft contact. Myself, soft contact. Everything right in front of the pitcher. Nothing going very much farther past. And here's Landon Loggins. Yeah, I've got a couple of shots of him just because he's one of the better hitters on the team. And you can see how he was struggling to find the timing here. One off the front of the plate, another fouled off, and here just soft contact right in front of the plate again. Bruce Raspberry popped right up. Steve was probably about the person that hit the hardest that the first time through, and he hit it straight at somebody. Eric popping up, soft contact again. I believe that was Roger Dodd. And then, there's my second. Oh, well, now we're through the first time. Okay, so you can see the frustration on that last clip as I actually kind of slammed my bat down running towards first. It was just frustrating, man. Very hard to find any kind of timing because it wasn't like it was a curveball that you could just kind of wait for the break on. It was it wasn't a changeup. I mean, he was throwing his fastball and it was just not going anywhere. So it was really hard just to kind of find that with that arc on it. I don't know. I don't know. I don't have any excuses other than I just could not adjust. Fortunately, we were able to adjust a little bit later in the game. Not myself personally, but we did have some late offense, and that was only after the Bulldogs in the late innings. Man, I should have had some clips of the pitching. I mean, it wasn't anything very exciting. The defense was solid tonight. I gotta give a shout out to Roger Dodd, who was filling in center field for Steve Terrell. Roger hasn't been able to make it to any games this season, and this was his first game back. And although he was a little bit rusty at the plate, man, that dude tracks balls like a eagle on a salmon or something like that, just swooping in and grabbing it with those big old gnarly claws. And man, just a couple of great plays. Now the way he soared to the left and the right, man, he was just swooping in there like he was just made of some Skippy peanut butter, just smooth right down. Anyhow, yeah. Enough about I'm trying to. We want Roger to come back. So defense was on point. Some great plays. Just running down balls. It was nothing flashy, especially plays in the infield. Nothing flashy, just routine, solid defense. No one made any unnecessary errors. Just played a very safe game. Very safe game defensively. Not too many crazy throws around the infield or anything like that. So as long as just looking in the past games, when we played that kind of game where it was safe, solid, basic, fundamental baseball, we actually fared pretty well. There wasn't a big score difference. As a matter of fact, the only one that's gotten out of hand was the 12-4 loss to the Yotes and Stros, and that wasn't even, comparatively speaking to past seasons, the biggest spread, in points. So very competitive games played by the Sandlots this season when they've played good fundamental baseball. So getting back into it, Olsen pitched probably 3 to 4 good innings before he had to probably just run out of gas. This is probably the third, fourth time through the lineups. At least the third. And just had to get a fresh arm in there. So that Landon Loggins came in a relief. And hey, believe it or not, this man was throwing up in the dugout. Wasn't quite sure what the illness was. Maybe some nerves, some anxiety or something. But yeah, just not feeling good. And was kind of just hidden over at first base for a little bit, the first part of the game, until he was tapped by Raspberry to come on and take the mound. Didn't know how that was going to turn out. His warm-up pitches were nothing special, but they weren't bad either. So we were just kind of wondering how it was going to go. Well, it couldn't have gone much better, other than I think he hit the first batter. Hey, I've been there, so no big deal there. But he did settle down and got some major outs that we needed to get, just to get us through those middle innings before Anthony Hare came in and shut down any hopes that the Bulldogs had. But before we got to that point, the Bulldogs actually put together some pretty solid hits off of Hare. Maybe they just got some good looks, but whatever it was, they came out fighting, man. So here's a solid double by number 24, the Bulldogs, against Landon. I'm still trying to figure out. I thought these were maybe later than that, but looks like back-to-back doubles. Landon gave up, and I think they actually scored 1 or 2 runs. And this was towards a late in the game, probably top of the last inning. So last-ditch effort for them. There's a play by me. There was some confusion on this play, and you'll see the ensuing madness. But the runner was out at first. There was some confusion about whether or not Olsen had come off the bag at first, but after looking at it, it was determined that he was out. And yeah, they finally got that figured out. It was a big mess, but needless to say, yeah. So the Bulldogs come in and score, get some good hits, put up a couple of runs, but in the bottom of the inning with needing to put the nail in the coffin, the Sandlots come through. And let's take a couple of looks at these offensive clips. This was the closest I came to getting a hit. A little soft contact down to third, and fielder's choice overthrows first. That'll bring in Anthony Hare comes across the score. And then Landon follows my little dink error with this smash, man, one hop from the fence. And I'm hustling to get around third, looking for somebody. There's no third base coach. What do? I don't know. I'm headed home because he throws the third for some reason behind me and overthrows. So there's a late run. RBI, I guess. I don't know. And then Hare next up drives in Raspberry and Garner come across the score. These are late in the scores right before the game, and with third out being called, it's time for post-game prayer. So that's the wrap. I know. They could have been better. But hey, we got the W, pull it out. What's it, 9-4? 9-4. I think it was a final. Yeah, 9-4. So with that, the Sandlots slide on up into second place in the division. The second time that they've been there this season, it was a tough loss first game of the season against Yotes and Stros. Gosh, man, I feel like this season's just been heavy. Anyhow, should have had that game. Lost by 1 run in the top of the last inning of that game. That was a tough loss. So we start out 0-1. Not a big deal. Come back, win the next 2, including against the Yotes and Stros, and probably one of the most memorable wins for the team in the last couple of seasons. So that was fun. And then we proceed to, at 2-1, I think it was a 2-1 record. So first time we had a winning record in a few seasons, especially that early. And so there was a lot of hope there. And now, here we sit at 3-4, clawing back. It's been very hard to get any kind of not routine, just any kind of rhythm going. Mostly due to all the rainouts. I think we've played maybe 2 games back-to-back weeks between holidays, rainouts, and field scheduling problems. Man, it's just been a tough season, man. That's why it's been so odd. That's why I say it's been so odd. It's just no one's been able to get into a rhythm. You don't, I don't know. But with the weather drying up, hopefully now we'll get into that back-to-back weeks where we can build some kind of rhythm, get back in, So there's hope for that. Stay tuned, man. Look, stick with me here. I believe we're going somewhere. This season. This is a great team, and once all the travel gets out of the way, and we get into the fall portion of the season, guys will be available more readily. They will have a solid lineup going forward every week, and that's when it's time, man. That's when it's time for everything to come together. But guys have been filling in places. Man, it kind of reminds me of how the Astros are just, man, doing what they're doing. And I'm not comparing us to the Astros. The Astros are legendary in my mind, and no one will ever convince me otherwise. But there are some similarities in the way that the Astros have just kind of kept it on the road despite losing the majority of their bullpen, losing their stars in the offseason, and the injuries that have plagued, not the, I mean, the whole lineup basically. So you got guys plugging in that just straight up from the minor leagues, just really wet behind the ears, and man, these guys have just been stepping up. There's been a couple of games where they showed, but for the most part, they've kept the ship afloat. And look where they're at, sitting pretty atop the division. I'll tell you that. So it's been that kind of season for the Sandlots as well. With the guys that are out, like I'm saying right now, get guys Roger Dodd back. Plays a great game out in the center. Man, great game. Just guys filling in at differences. They're not like filling in the lineup, but they're playing out of position and doing a great job at it, really helping to win. And so that's kind of what I'm talking about. So I'm excited for the rest of the season. Just gives me energy thinking about it. And you know what else gives me energy? Dubby energy drink, man. If you haven't tried this stuff, listen. I have trouble focusing at work sometimes. I have so many plates spinning at one time that I'll be working on something halfway and then like get distracted by something. And I always get the work done, but it just feels like I could have done it more efficiently, like I'd have been more focused about it. Well, that's where Dubby comes in. I've been drinking my Dubby sports drink in place of coffee in the mornings, and I've just noticed such more focused feeling. I'm able to accomplish tasks in a more timely manner because I'm not going back and forth. Hey, what was I doing here? Oh man, yeah, here. Well, let me jump on that. No more of that. It's just a way to focus, be on task, and be able to just optimize my time. As far as on the baseball field, I feel better like going into a game physically. So far, it hasn't translated to my focus at the plate. I don't know what to say about that. But as far as having the energy, I don't feel drained, and it's hot out there. But I haven't felt that lately when I've been using the Dubby, and so also, I have a very hard time staying fully hydrated. So I suffer from heat cramps a lot, and since I've been using the Dubby product, and I'll tell you what I've been using. I've been using Otis Restore Potion in the sweet tart flavor. Man, can't beat it. You can drink it on its own or mix it with your favorite drink, and it just enhances everything about that drink. It's all natural. It's made from the coffee fruit. And also there's no artificial dyes in it. It's all natural, made from vegetables and fruits. The dyes are, so whatever color you get in there, it's all natural. Also, it's that kind of like NeuroGum, but it helps you just focus, man. It's got vitamins in there that help your mental process, help you focus. So if that's something that sounds good to you, man, hey, just reach out. You can go to Dubby.gg and order you some today, man. Look at all the flavors they got through there. You can find the flavor combos. They even have stuff you can mix with your coffee or milk. Those kind of flavors. I was looking, I saw s'more flavor, stuff like that. But let me tell you, the two that I'm very excited about that I just saw are the Japanese soda flavor and the yuzu. I believe it's called yuzu citrus flavor. I don't know. I'm just super excited. I want to get those, and I will give you a review of those as soon as I get those. But man, let's get back to league standings, just seeing how things are at this point of the season. We are one game away from being at the halfway point of the season, and right now these are your standings. You got the Yotes and Stros at 6-1, followed by the Sandlots at 3-4. Now Rangers and Bulldogs, a little iffy down there. They both have a tie on the record. They just couldn't find a winner in their one head-to-head contest in the early portion of the season. So the Rangers are sitting at 3-1. Bulldogs 5-1. They just continue to struggle this season and find a solid roster. I saw a lot of new guys come out. Maybe they're trying out some new dudes, and You know, against Olsen, I mean, they had some solid hits. I'll give them that. So maybe that's a start for them. But who knows? Who knows where they're going with that? They just don't seem like a very dangerous team right now. But who knows? Maybe they figure it out. The Rangers, on the other hand, man, it's a surprise to look up here and see them at 3-3. Just the way they are able to hit the ball, especially the way they hit the ball against us the last time we played. Now, look, we had Tim Green on the mound. He started the game the last time we played the Rangers, and Tim has been pretty much, I don't want to say unhittable, but for the teams that were seeing him the first time, they just looked completely lost at the plate. Guys actually didn't even want to give too much of an effort trying to swing at these pitches because they were coming so fast. Just like the Bulldogs pitcher being a lot slower than we are used to, Tim is the opposite. We don't really see pitching of that speed in our league, and so for these guys to get in the box and try to hit this, I'm sure most of them will tell you that they welcome the challenge, and it's just fun to get in there and challenge yourself. But then you'll have others like, man, I'm kind of old to see that kind of pitching, so let me just take a swipe or hope for a walk here, you know. But either way, it makes it fun. I would love to try to hit against Tim, and let me tell you something. As much as that's been the majority of the results, man, the last time we played the Rangers and Tim started, he got shelled. There's no other way around it. He actually, both of us, I think I came in relief for him, and they were just on the ball that night. There was not a ball that was hit within probably about 15 feet of any position, and they were hit like solid hits. There was no soft contact, no little dink, dribblers or pop-ups behind the infield, nothing like that. Just straight wood. And so just to kind of look at here at the standings and see the Rangers sitting at 3-3-1, man, that's kind of tough. So, I mean, but it also gives me hope because, you know, technically we're ahead of them in the standings. We haven't played very well against them, but yeah. So we're at 7 games. What? 7 games. We got 8 games left, and let's see. Let's pull up the schedule here, the remaining schedule. Hey, how do you like these graphics, y'all? I just made these, got it put up, and I'm pretty proud. So the remaining schedule that we're looking at here, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. So of the remaining 8 games that we have, we will be facing the Rangers 4 times. So, man, it's going to be very tight. I hate to sound overconfident or cocky or anything like that because, you know, it was a pretty competitive game against the Bulldogs. But with them sitting 5-1, that just doesn't feel like much of a threat. Now, we'll see who's up there in first. I mean, this doesn't change very much from year to year. The Yotes Astros are what they are. They're a very solid team. As much as the Rangers are hitting the ball, the Yotes Astros are just as capable of putting in those kind of figures with the bat. So, and it's obvious they're sitting at 6-1, and the only loss that they have is to the Sandlots. So there's some silver lining on stuff, but going forward, that silver lining doesn't really account for much. So, just looking at it, those are our 2 targets right there. The Rangers and the Yotes Astros, and next week we'll have us taking on those very Rangers to see if we can hang on to that number 2 spot and, you know, just put up another dub, man. That's what it's all about, and there's just no catching the Stros just yet, right? You know, we just got to leapfrog these Rangers and get set up for a late charge. And guess what? With all those rainouts earlier in the season, we played the Yotes and Stros back to back, like we played them like 4 out of 6 games that we played. It feels like so. But the good thing is, we've got one last game against them, and then we're done with them for the season, which splits the 8 games. I think we have 3 against Bulldogs, 4 against the Rangers. So, hey, not counting our eggs before they're hatched, but let's just look at the schedule and be like, on the strength of the standings and the results of the previous games, let's just hey, this is my talk show. I'm not talking for my team right now. This is my podcast. So I'm going to step out and say, I'm pretty confident that we can handle the Bulldogs in the remaining 3 games. At worst, we take and we go 2-1 against them. I think that's the worst that we could probably do. So looking at that gives us 2 more wins. So, man, just got to worry about those Rangers. So Friday's a good start for that. Let's take care of business and move on and just take care of what we can take care of. Take care of what we should take care of. How about that? So, in case you're wondering, next Friday night, 7:30 p.m., Rockwood, field number 2. At least that's the plan. If stuff changes, check back, check the Facebook, check our Instagram. We usually post a schedule on there. But you do have the time and date, so just check in. All right. Come see this Hatfields and McCoys of the FWMSBL. Sandlots and Rangers, man, we don't just play. We're going to trade some grudges. All right? So, here we go. I will let you know what the starting lineup is and who your starting pitcher for is, hopefully by midweek. So look for that coming out on our socials. All right. So we've been talking about how these teams are having to, just fill in holes where where they have to. We've been fortunate that in the last 2 seasons there haven't been any major injuries, but injury is always a possibility while we're out there. So let's just kind of talk about this World Baseball Classic for a moment, because I love baseball. I love playing my league play. And I'm sure at any point, any athlete would have loved, maybe, depending on your politics, to represent your country playing the game that you love, whether it be in the Olympics or, in this World Baseball Classic, which, occurs during the Major League Baseball offseason. Now, look, I love international baseball too, as much as the next guy. But, come on, let's be real. Look, do we need the Jose Altuves of the world? Really? I don't know. Come on. Do we really need the Jose Altuves of the world to lay down their MLB season for a tournament that it's in March? Altuve broke his thumb. Edwin Diaz, he blew out his knee. And what? He wasn't even playing. He was celebrating a save. Now, look, I get the passion. I get the passion for the country. But fans, man, we pay real dollars, and the team's investing hundreds of millions for a game that really is not of any meaning other than, for pride of country. You're not making any money on this. It's really Russian roulette with your franchise stars, with their cornerstones. You know what I'm saying? And so, my stance, man, it's cool. In theory, the thought, represented for your country, unless you can find some kind of way to compensate these guys and these teams for any injuries that occur, then I just got to say, man, it's just reckless. It's reckless in practice. It's great in thought and theory, but when you put it on the field and you see the disastrous results that can occur, man, I don't feel like it's worth it. I don't feel like it's worth it. How do you feel? You guys, we play an amateur sport, but hey, when you have to get up and go to work the next day and make that money, your employer is counting on you to be there, and you're out playing a game that is, in the big scheme of things, meaningless. We're not making millions of dollars out there and stuff like that. So what we do on Friday nights doesn't help us support our families, just like the WBC. So if I was to go out and hurt myself in a way that I can't come into work, where I'm dependent on and where I make my bread for my family, what is my employer supposed to do? What is my family supposed to do? What are my, what are my finances supposed to do? I mean, and when you look at it in that light, it kind of puts that baseball classic, that international baseball tournament, in kind of a dark light. And so when I say I was throwing shadow, it kind of made my point for me. They're living in the shadows over there. It's just a dark time. I don't know. In the end, I don't want any of my stars playing in that. Leave that for the amateurs, guys. Anyhow, now that I'm done salting that little, I'm gonna call it this nice little tournament that they have down there in the international. Now that I'm done. Oh, and let's not to mention, and this is totally petty, but guys wearing the uniform of Great Britain. I mean, come on, dude. Like, I would be, I would be personally outraged if I was a professional baseball player, giving up my time, my money, my safety, a guarantee of not hurting myself, to go over and play for a team whose uniform was created on a Xerox machine. Basically, it looks like, anyways. But that's just me. I'm petty, and I also like to look good when I'm in the field. I don't even know where that came from, but I've done it as a kid all my life. I just want to feel like a big leaguer. So it is what it is. And I am done with my rant on that. I'd like to know your thoughts, though. So come on, man. Let's talk about it. Send the comments. Give me your thoughts on the World Baseball Classic. I'm pretty sure Raz will have something to say about that on TAP, the Totally Amateur podcast, when we finally get back together. So look forward to that. Okay, wow. So I've gone for, I don't even know how long I've gone for, but I've gone for longer than I planned. But I think I finally regurgitated everything that I wanted to say, because I ingested that so many times earlier just to be prepared for the show. Trying to get better, even though this is an amateur podcast or stream, whatever. Today I'm just, I'm all audio and with some highlights. So don't forget, next week, actually this week, Friday, 7:30 p.m., Rockwood Field 2. It's going to be Rangers and Sandlots. Come out, join us. If you can't join us in person, please check out the live stream. And, if it's a little late for you, grab some dummy. Give you some energy, help you focus. Yeah, that's where it's at, baby. And don't forget about our friends at Tire Store Service Center. Whatever your need for your vehicle is, if you don't even know if you had a need, sometimes you don't even know what you don't know. They're going to let you know. Take it over. They're going to check your car out and just let you know what might need some service. They're not going to try to sell you anything, but they're going to make sure you're safe. They're going to make sure your vehicle's safe. It has what it needs at the right price, and you will not walk out of there dissatisfied. Again, tell them the Sandlots sent you. Tell them you heard it on Tap. Tell them you heard it on the Rap with Dez. Tell them you saw it on our social media. Whatever. Maybe they'll give you a little discount. Who knows? We'll see. You have been wrapped up. Like, subscribe, follow us on the Rap with Dez. We'll be next week checking in with you again, give you a full breakdown and recap of the Friday night's game against the Rangers. And hey, we'll maybe see if I can get a hit by then. Who knows? All right, guys. Catch y'all next week. Peace.